Good morning, my friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here. I am going to do Roxy's weekly challenge, but it's not the same as what Rachel did. I'm taking inspiration from what Rachel did in her latest challenge, and that was she made 9 different versions of pockets using book pages. So I was definitely inspired by that. If you've been around me long enough, you know I love using book pages in my projects, and I have a whole library of book pages to use. So definitely want to do book page pockets. But rather than do the ones that Rachel did, I was inspired to go in a different direction, and there's a couple of reasons for that. So this is the first reason. I've got the Oxford Book of Carols. I'm working on Christmas journals. I'm about to start doing some videos on them. And this is a Christmas carol. It's not all Christmas, actually. I thought it was, but there's like Easter carols and general carols in amongst it, but there's a lot of Christmas. I wanted to use this for my Christmas journals, but they're very small pages. So they are 4 inches by 6 1/4 inches. So small pages in of themselves, like they could be journal cards or something. But I thought pockets sounds like a great idea. So one reason is the size of this particular book page, that I've sort of gone off script from what Rachel did. The second reason is I want to preserve the text of these carols. I want them to be seen. Like, I don't want to hide them away because they go with the theme. They're beautiful. Some of the ones I've chosen out are not traditional. Like, not traditional for us anyway, or to me. The ones I've never heard of, or interesting spelling of Noel. It's got a W in there and an extra L. So Angels from the Realms, I've never heard of. It's apparently French. The first Noel I know, of course. Shepherds, Shake Off Your Drowsy Sleep. Never heard of that one. Waking Time. Again, it's French, something I've never heard of before. And the words are beautiful. And then Good King Wenceslas, which is one I grew up singing from an early age as well. So I want to preserve the text, but also they are thin. So to make a pocket out of them, just by themselves, it's not really strong enough. And I thought, well, you could back it with any paper and that would be fine. But how about if I pair it with another book page? So that's what I'm going to do. This is one of my Spanish books here. So I have 5, so let's just grab out 5 pages. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Will I get 5 done? Probably not. Right, I'm just going to whip off that rough edge there. Just quickly. Just because it's got a bit of glue residue and lumpiness to it, so I don't want that to be on my pockets. It's quite hard to get through 5 pages, but it did it, and it did it quite easily, just a bit more force. Okay, and I've prepared 4 of these the way I want them. So I want to take off the rough edge, but I also want to narrow it down just a little bit. So this might be inspiration for you to how to use those smaller book pages and still make something of a reasonable size out of them. So taking their strengths and their weaknesses and using them to best advantage is, I guess, kind of a summary of what I'm doing here. So that one is trimmed down now as well. Oh, trying to pick that piece of paper up. Who knew that would be so difficult? So let's do one at a time, I think. I probably won't be decorating. I will decorate when I'm working in the individual journals. I only need 4, but I've got 5 here, and I've also got a prototype that I was working on. So first off, where the song is that I want to bend it above that a little bit, leaving a bit of a gap for a thumb notch. On my prototype, I forgot about a thumb notch, so I took it a bit far down, but I made it work. So about there's fine, and I'm going to put glue on the underside of that bit that we've folded under. And then take one of your book pages and turn your page upside down. And we're going to pop this in about the middle. Don't have to be super precise, but about the middle, and stick that down on the back. So this is reinforcing that top section of our pocket. Okay, now that I've done that, I prefer to do this in sections, so I do that section first, then I do the front section. Okay, so you've glued your front piece, which is going to be like your feature text, upside down or the right side up, and your back page is upside down. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so from here I want to find the center point at the bottom, so I'm just going to do a little fold in half and pinch, just a little pinch at the bottom there, and I want to fold a triangle up to that little pinch that I made. Doesn't matter if you leave a little bit of a gap at the bottom, they don't have to meet exactly when you do your two folds, but you want them nice and close just for a finish, although you have a choice in the next stage, so it depends what you prefer. You could leave a bigger gap and it won't matter if you choose one of the choices. So then we're going to fold this up, and we are going to cover some of this text. Okay, that's kind of just, we can't keep it all, and fold that. The text on the Spanish page is not straight, so I'm kind of like trying to get it straight, and I don't know whether it is or not, so it's going to be what it is. So we've done our triangles and then fold it up here. Now the choice is, you can leave it at a point, so if you can see that, leave it at a point, or you can fold it under. Just trying to get it straight. That text on the page not being straight is totally upsetting my eyeballs. So that is straight, but it doesn't look straight because the text is crooked, but that's okay, because this part's going to be decorated. So are you with me so far? So you can leave it at a point, or you can fold it under and have it as that might sort of give you a better idea, have it as a straight across the top and then the angles. Okay, so I'm going to remove some of that paper that we turned under. So just unfolding the triangles, leaving a bit of like 1/2 inch or so of that turn under. Now I can glue those down. That one and this side. Okay, now for the tuck under, if you don't want the point for this bit here, whoops, that's not sticking, put a better press, I think, maybe a little burnish with my card here just to make sure that sticks down. Now if you're folding under the point, I do prefer to glue that down with tacky glue, just because there's a couple of layers there now and I want it to stay put. You could trim it part of the point off as well. You don't have to glue it all down, but I think just leaving a little bit of extra, that extra on there, helps give it more to secure it down. If I'm making sense. Probably not. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay, so we've got that far. Next, I have chosen to add side gussets. You don't necessarily need to add the gussets, but I am going to. So I'm flipping it over to the other side and going to fold it over just, I don't know, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, I don't know, what is that? 1/2 inch. But I'm not measuring, not doing it for any specific distance, as long as my front piece is kind of still centered. I think actually, now that I think about it, did I do the side gussets before I glued on this piece? I might have, so that it was centered. So I'm having trouble getting it centered, so I think I possibly will do that on the next one. Glue this bit on after I've already folded the sides in. But that's looking good now. Okay, so I'm going to remove just the top little angle on the gusset at the top, just so it doesn't show once it's glued onto a page. But I'm going to leave the bottom as it is. So I'm not going to mitre these bottom corners, but I am going to go in. Oh, not yet, not yet. If you're an inker, you need to ink now. So let's ink, because I am typically an inker. So easy to do around the outside here at any point. Oh, sorry. I did a prototype and yet I'm forgetting things. Let's take the thumb notch. If you want a thumb notch, take that out before you ink, so that when you ink, you're inking the thumb notch. So these areas are easy to do at any time around the outside, but the top of the pocket you need to do before you glue. I'm using aged mahogany for my inking, because that's what I want to do my journals, my Christmas journals with, because I think it works really, really well, being that reddy brown. More red than brown, I think, but it's a reddy brown, or browny red, whichever. Okay, so we've done the top of the pocket. Folding this under means we see a bit more of that text from the song. It does bug me that it's, but the page is straight, the text isn't. But however, we'll be decorating that, possibly not on camera though. So here we go. Let's glue it down. So I'm putting just a little bit of glue along this short fold line, because I don't want to narrow my pocket too much. And then glue that down, fold your gussets in, and then I like to come in and just put my nozzle in under that flappy bit. I'll show you on the next one on this side. So not under your gusset, not under here, because that would stop things going down in your pocket, but where we've got that fold over from the front. Can you see that? In there. So not in here, in there. So just a little piece. There might be another way to do that where you don't have that little piece, but I didn't want to cut it off, because then I'd have a raw edge on the side of the pocket here. So what we've got, you could put a thumb notch here too if you wanted. I've chosen not to, although that would show more of the text behind, so maybe it's a good idea. So you've got a pocket on the front here, like so, a smaller pocket, and then you've got a nice larger gusseted pocket in the back. And I thought that would be really nice on a page. This is not Christmas, this is mushrooms, but that's kind of what it would look like. Okay, so that's my pocket idea. So let's do another one, and we'll do it a slightly different method to see if it's easier. So we need our next song. And you're going to fold it a little bit above the song title that we want. So we've got room for our thumb notch, and that doesn't look like it's straight, is it? It's quite funny how often old book pages are not straight. Have you encountered that? It's annoying, but it is what it is. Okay, so we want this upside down. But first, let's fold in our side gussets. So this one I'm going to fold to where the text is. So it's going to be larger on one side than on the other, the gusset. Okay, make sure it's upside down. And then we can glue that in the middle. Yes, that is much, much easier. Yes, but I'm going to unfold them because I've just realized that it will inhibit the next step. So fold them, but don't glue them down or anything. Or you wouldn't glue them down anyway, otherwise you're going to close up your pocket, and there's no point having gussets if you glue them down. Am I even making sense this morning, my friends? I don't know. Just come and hang with me. We'll get there. Right, so lining it up in the middle between the two fold lines. Just as close as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. So gluing that bit down on the inside. Okay, so now I need the centre point with those folded in, don't I? Yes, otherwise my centre point's not going to be in the centre. So with the gussets folded in, do your little pinch there. This could be interesting. This might not work how I anticipated, but however, let's try it. So going to our little pinch mark, folding it into a triangle, and the other side as well. Now then they're going to be different heights here because we've got different size gussets on the side. Is that going to be a problem? Okay, there. Oh, we need to glue that down, but let's fold this while we're here. No, it's not going to be a problem. Because they're going to be hidden, aren't they? And then you can leave the point. Shall we leave a point? Shall we leave the point this time? Just for something different. So cut off these extra bits. And I think I'm just going to go tacky glue for that at the moment. Just quicker, easier, less messy. My glue page is very gluey. Make sure it sticks down nicely. So this one we're going to leave as a point, and I think that will be a point of difference. Yeah, I know, I'm so punny. I do amuse myself. Got to amuse somebody. If it's only myself, well, that's okay. Right, and this I'm just going to also use my tacky glue. Just a scribble of glue in the middle there. So this is Shepherds, shake off your drowsy sleep. Shepherds, shake off your drowsy sleep. Rise and leave your silly sheep. Angels from heaven around are singing. Tidings of great joy are bringing. Shepherds, the chorus come and swell. Sing Noel, Noel, Noel. Hark, even now the bells ring round. Listen to their merry sound. Hark, how the birds new songs are making, as if winter's chains were breaking. See how the flowers all burst anew, thinking snow is summer dew. See how the stars afresh are glowing, all their brightest beams bestowing. Cometh at length the age of peace, strife and sorrow now shall cease. Prophets foretold the wondrous story of this heaven-born Prince of Glory. It's beautiful. I'd love to know the tune, like what tune that goes to, but I have no idea. But I thought, let's just, I don't know, some of you might have heard of that carol. Let me know if you have. I've never heard it in my life. Right, let's do some inking. Let's do our thumb notch. Oops, let's go in the middle maybe. Give or take. I do love aged mahogany. Isn't it beautiful? Stunning colour. Given to me by the beautiful Lydia from February and June. I just feel like that's not dark enough on that side. Needs a little more touch of ink. Okay, so let's glue this down. So again, doing on the fold line, that short little piece. And that's the theory, is that it will spread either side of the fold line and glue it on the front and the back just by a small amount, rather than having a line of glue on the inside which will shorten or narrow the pocket. Okay, and then just coming in under that little flap and securing that down on the back. Oh, I need to miter my top corners as well. Now, why I'm not mitering the bottom is that I don't want to close the pocket up. So when you're gluing the pocket down, if you've got a corner missing down here, then you're going to be putting glue on the pocket here further up. So at the bottom it's going to be in a little narrower than at the top, which in itself is not a huge problem, but the whole reason for gussets is to get more spacious pocket. So if you've got glue at the bottom here closing it up, then you're losing the benefit of those gussets. So hopefully that makes sense. So there we've got, I'm wondering, is that strong enough, that point? It's not a point, it's got a little flat top on it, but I think so, because once it's glued down, it has actually got quite a bit of room there, so I think it will be fine for sliding something in. Cool. Okay, so already we've done a variation. So we've got the point or we've got the flat. And I think it was definitely easier to centre by folding the gussets in first. So let's do another one. I don't think I'll get all 5 done. I mean, if working with uneven gussets bothered you, you could always chop the excess off to make them the same width. Just work with whatever's easier for you. Now, just grab that one back, because after all that talking, I did forget to mitre those top corners. Okay, but I better do it before I forget. Chances are I would go ahead and glue it on a page without noticing that I hadn't done it, even when I'm applying glue, and then a piece shows, and it would annoy me. It would annoy me, I can tell you that. Okay, so our next one, Angels from the Realms. The song above it looks like it might be German or Dutch or something. I don't quite know, but foreign language. There's a number of songs in the book that are in a different language, all sorts of languages. There's French and Dutch and Spanish, and it's quite interesting. No idea what they're saying, but they're quite cool. Okay. Upside down. We need it upside down. And that's because the bit that flips up will be the right side up. The text beside will be upside down, but I think that just adds interest. And I've got a big glue clump there. Let's get rid of that. Back onto the glue stick. Not on all the way down. There we go. Come on, why aren't you going all the way down? Here we go. Right. So I'm going to glue this down first now before I do the next step. I just love the way that us creatives can take something and springboard from it and create something new or different, or a variation on something we've seen. There's never truly a copy, is there? Even if we're using the same papers or the same things, we're going to fold differently. We're going to use different inks. We're going to use different pieces to embellish with. We're going to use different core materials like book pages. We're not all going to have the same books to use. So we're always creating it differently, even if we're trying to do a direct copy. It's almost impossible to do a direct copy when you're infusing yourself into it by your choices, by your materials, your supplies, and your inspiration as well. Okay, so let's do our centre pinch at the bottom. And then you can unfold your flaps in order to fold it up. I think it would be a bit easier than trying to fold it with the flaps, with the gussets turned under. Go, whip off the excess. Again, you don't need to cut off the excess if you don't want to. You can just glue it down. No problem. Depends on the strength of your page too. If it's a very thick page, then you probably will want to take the excess off so it's not so bulky. but if it's thin paper like mine's fairly thin, then it doesn't matter if you left it on. Hopefully I'm in screen. I feel like I'm dancing around my desk with my project. Over here, over there. Okay. So fold that up to create your pocket. And this one I think I'm going to fold under, maybe not quite so much, just a little point there. Doesn't need to go under a huge amount, so I'll glue that down. Oops, that's popping up, so I'm just going to put a little tacky glue under it because I didn't let the glue stick dry. That's why the paper's popping up on me. So if you can let it dry in between. Oh, I've got purple fingernails. It tells a story. I had to delay starting the video because this finger was white, and so I had to sit here and suck my finger till it warmed up. That sounds really terrible, doesn't it? But yeah, that's what I had to do because I couldn't afford to wait for half an hour or an hour for it to warm up on its own. And it's very uncomfortable and weird when that happens. So I found popping my finger in my mouth is a quick way to warm it up. But if I get multiple fingers doing that, then I can't do that because I can't fit them all on my mouth. My mouth's not that big. And I'm sure you really needed to know that, didn't you? Right, let's do our thumb notch before I get carried away. Whoops, not down into the title preferably. I was thinking maybe I should have decorated one, but I didn't grab out any of my fussy cuts or anything to do that with, so we'll just have to imagine what they'll look like decorated. You will see them in the journals I make along the way, and when I do a flip through when they're complete, you will see them again decorated. So unless I do another session where I decorate them up, anything's possible, my friends. Anything is possible. I feel like this isn't straight, but and it might not be, but I'm okay with that. Add a couple of little bits and pieces and she'll be good. Right. I don't even know if this glue here on that I'm doing on the folds, whether it's necessary. It may not be, but I'm doing it. So you make up your own mind if you're making these, to do or not to do the glue. To glue or not to glue, that is the question on everyone's lips. Just doing a time check, seeing how we're doing. Okay, and our little mitre at the top. Okay, so to glue this onto a page, here's another page here, just a plain one. You'd put glue right at the bottom, down here, and then on the gussets. And so you'd put it on the page like so. So you would have right to the bottom of the pocket, and you'd have that extra bit of space because of your gussets, that you would slide in something inside those gussets, and it just gives your pocket a little bit more room, not so tight on the page, and it actually covers quite a nice portion of the page as well. So on a book page, signature page, or on a page that is can't be written on, that would be a really nice piece to pop on there without double pocket. That's what it is. It's a double pocket. So we've got 2 pockets. Fun. Okay, I think I've pretty much exhausted that. I still have another couple to make, but I think I've given you enough to go on with that you can recreate it, whether you do it exactly the same or whether you make your own version. Feel free, switch it up whichever way you like it. So we've got the flat top, we've got the pointed top, and then this is my prototype here where I haven't got the book page peeking on the side. I just used the full width of this book page here. I used the full width, so it's blank on the sides, and then the book page I used for the base, actually the back was almost all without text, so when I folded the pocket up I ended up with blank, and that's fine too, because that's a nice carrier for any decoration that I want to add. So I've got 4. I can make another couple if I so wish, but I've actually ended up with 4, which is all I need for the journals that I'm going to be making. So I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that this was okay as a Roxy's Weekly Challenge, that I made my own thing based on Rachel's ideas. And I'm sorry I'm a bit croaky now. Take care, my friends, and I'll be back again in another video tomorrow. I'll see you then. Bye for now.